What up, YouTube? It's your boy Paul again, and you're watching another episode of Chopping It Up with Paul. Today, my heart's heavy with the subject that I gotta speak on. It's a difficult subject, and the news is telling the story of protesters becoming rioters, thinking that rioting, thinking you're going to accomplish anything. But to continue to prove that police militant behavior needs to continue, that's all that your rioting and looting and pillaging is doing. Because yes, you do have the right to protest. It's a constitutional right given to us in the First Amendment of the Constitution. Let me read to you exactly how we're supposed to riot. It's how we're supposed to protest, not riot, protest. It says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. These are rights given to us by our founding fathers. They knew that the government was from time to time going to have to be a negotiation. We're sitting here protesting and others are rioting. We've got to realize your purpose for protest is being masked and mirrored and covered up by those that are pillaging and rioting violently and negatively. Because it even says in the Constitution, and the cops wouldn't have a problem with people protesting, because it is a peaceful gathering of the assembly of the people. It should not be this angry mob seeking vigilante justice. Vigilante justice never goes anywhere but opening the doorway for the government to declare martial law. And to be positive and productive with your protest is the number one thing. You have to allow them to see your purpose instead of your actions. And right now, the actions of the people rioting, their cause and purpose is being buried. All that the government's saying is, oh, look, they weren't really on anything anyway. Makes me scratch my head. Why are you rioting when you could be peacefully marching and protest? It's been done many, many times. Look at Martin Luther King's Million Man March. The Civil Rights Movement gave rights for African American people to have equal rights with their white counterparts. It's something that they set the model and example. And for those of you who are using the words of using just one part of Martin Luther King's speech on that, is putting to shame the movements. See, a movement isn't bad. A movement of the people is important. It is necessary to keep the social balance equal. But when you get violent, that violent action, protest, yes, is necessary. But unnecessary acts of violence only perpetrate negative social standings of your cause. I mean, we can sit here forever just looking at how peaceful protest works, as opposed to the violent rioting that is going on coast to coast in big cities everywhere. It's time to stop the violence. Let me do a little name dropping here for a moment. We all remember last year, Game and Snoop doing their march to the county seat of LA County on graduation day of the police academy. Imagine, if you will, 1,000 Bloods and 1,000 Crips tying bandanas together and marching from one end of LA County all the way to the county seat of LA County. And the thoughts that were going through the minds of these police academy graduates, expecting violence, but not one person was armed. They marched the proper way. And their problem was heard and dealt and met. And they spoke on it and resolved the issue that they wanted to resolve. Their purpose was seen because it was non-violent. It was a peaceful gathering of the people. Granted, it was just a cross-section of the people. Imagine if the entirety of the people could come together with one common purpose. Imagine what could be done if every single American citizen came together and each marching peacefully, unarmed, not rioting, but protesting with a purpose. It all started with an officer choking out a citizen. Okay, I understand you're angry about that. I get it. But at the same time, your whole purpose for the entire upheaval is being missed. They don't care. All they see is a bunch of people gathering and perpetrating violence, theft, and destruction. They're not seeing that the people are tired of the police getting away with stuff because of the fact that we are tired of there being a double standard. That the police have one standard and the citizens that they are forced to protect on the other. You know, on another standard. When the Constitution gives us many rights. See, all this rioting isn't solving anything. It's time we the people come together and speak our issues out. Not destroy people's businesses. What did those people do to you? You know, what did those business owners do to you personally for you to destroy their stuff just because you're upset with the government for the way the police conduct themselves? I understand you're upset. But instead of taking it out on innocent people who don't have a horse in the race with you, you know? Take it to the people who it's needed for. Peacefully protest. Because you're not making him a martyr. You're not making him a hero by rioting. You know, it would make him a hero, make his life worth the sacrifice to get together and make sure it doesn't happen to somebody else. Come together as one. Stop putting division in there and stop perpetrating violence in the name of protest. This is why the police are militarized. Their weapons are on automatic for crowd control. Rubber bullets are being used, yes, but you're being bombarded by rubber bullets. And let me tell you, those rubber bullets don't feel good, but neither does the thought of walking up to your business in the morning and seeing every pane of glass broken to your establishment. Imagine that's your life savings you sunk into that business. Everything you had in the world, everything you've ever worked for 20 years to build your own business. And in 1 second, rioters destroyed your business and are causing an expense that you really can't afford. Why? For what purpose? What did he do? Besides not march with you. I wouldn't march with you destroying other people's stuff. I would tell you, okay, you do your march over here. I'm going this way. And I'm going to do a totally separate march, and let's see who goes farther. Violence never solves anything. It just causes more problems. So it's time we, the people, stepped up the proper way and spoke. It's time for we, the people, to put our feet out there in the streets and march to the leaders instead of making the police come to us. You know, instead of making the National Guard come to us. Imagine these young kids that join the National Guard because it's 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks out of the year that their services are necessary. They've got jobs, families. All of a sudden, with about an hour and a half notice, you get a phone call, hey, it's time to deploy. Where are we going? Indianapolis. You mean I'm not going on foreign soil? No. We are here for the simple purpose of crowd control. So now employers are short-handed. Because instead of peacefully protesting, you decided to riot, start destroying stuff, thinking it's gonna solve something. All it did was draw the wrong kind of attention to your cause. It's like Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. We don't want a more violent society. At least I don't. I don't want that for my grandkids. I'm 43 years old. And I've seen movements come and go. I've seen causes come and go. But the ones that truly made an impact are the ones that were done properly. You know, the ones that stuck out in my mind are the protesters that were not committing acts of violence. So you have to ask yourself, are you a political activist or are you a protester with a cause and purpose to move us out of the current situation we're in? When you die, how do you want to be viewed? As the one that did the riots, that was a participant in the riots of 2020? Or do you want to be known as a person who changed something for the better? Make a difference. Stop being out here on stupid stuff. Take the examples of the civil rights leaders. Take the examples of the women, the movements that stand out to me the most that were protested over. Civil rights, meaning equal rights for African American people as well as their white counterparts. Women's rights. You know, for women to be treated as equals, to be viewed as equals in the workplace. There's always protests for cessation of war. But see, what we don't realize is war is a necessary evil. It is. Not playing. Because without war, true peace cannot be achieved. The bullies would win. The world bullies would win. The ones that are out here trying to destroy things, to destroy the world, you rioters are being bullies. Bullies never win. And this is what the police and military are saying, is we will not put up with bullies. There's no place for it in our society. Not if we want to have a proper balance in society. We have to move. We have to march peacefully. Even if it's just singing hymns while we march. You know? Or speaking out what our movement is for. You know? You don't have to be out here rioting and tearing stuff up and destroying things. I mean, we're coming off the heels of most of us being locked down for 4 long months. And in some places, people are still locked down. My heart goes out to the people in Illinois. They still can't get out of their, can't be out in public in groups. You know? And that's just one that I know of. I don't know about all the rest of the states, how many of them are actually reopened for business. Ours is reopened at half capacity. This is where we're at. This is what we're doing. This is what needs to change. Because now we're loud out and y'all acting goofy. Y'all tearing stuff up and acting a fool. And expecting the government to be okay with it. No, they're not going to be okay with you tearing stuff up and destroying things. Instead, like Gandhi said, let's be the change. Let's be the avenue by which we change the way our social and political system is run. Let's move for that. Make it more equal. You know, just the same fair treatment for the police as well as the citizens that they are sworn to protect. You know, as it is right now, they're having to protect themselves against rioters, against the people they're sworn to protect. Rioting is destroying is destructing our city cores, our black-owned grocery stores, convenience stores that are owned by foreigners, yes. But they're the brave ones that opened it up, knowing that they probably would not be welcome, worrying every night, is my business going to recover from this? Y'all destroyed their business. They're sitting there praying at night to just please let us bounce back from this. Let us be able to make the repairs and get the merchandise back that we had on the shelves when it took off, when the riots took off and started throwing trash cans and stuff through windows. It's sad. It's sad to see grown people acting like kids on school grounds. Yeah, y'all say, oh, the cops are bullies. They're bullying us. How are they bullying you when you're sitting here destroying things? Yeah, they're going to take you to jail because you are not exercising your rights properly. A proper execution of the rights is doing it peaceably. Meaning unarmed, non-violent, not destroying stuff around you, but standing in the gap and speaking against the social injustices that are going on in the world right now. And putting foot to pavement. Instead of marching up the city streets to pillage and destroy, how about marching up the streets with a bullhorn in hand, speaking what we're thinking, what we want to see happen, what our true goal and mission is. Oh, wow. What a novel thought, huh? But we cannot achieve this as long as we're being violent and destructive. This is not a strike. Or at least it shouldn't be. Yet. We are not at that level yet. Yes. The actions of that officer were incomprehensible and unnecessary. Yes, I agree. And yet nothing has been done about it. Yes, I get that. I get that you want something done. But if you want something done, you got to get it the right way. And this ain't getting it. Take it from the old school, from your elders. When we say, y'all lost track of what true protesting is all about. It's not about violence and anger and destruction. It's about peacefully marching to accomplish a goal. Okay, set goals. What day is it going to happen that we march together? How are you going to get it out there? You know, are you going to distribute flyers? Do the legwork. And then if you only have 7 people show up, march with those 7 people. As if you had a 1,000,000-man army behind you. Not that we're wanting to be militant, but envision yourself with 1,000,000 people behind you. Even though it's just the 7 of you, because guess what? when people start seeing, oh, these guys aren't on violence and destruction, let's follow them. What's the worst that happens? We get caught up in the crowd, and we marched for a purpose. Okay, I can dig that. Can you? Can you live with that? And yes, all lives matter. Not just blue lives, not just civilian lives, all lives matter. So to conclude and close this video out, I covered that we have found that the Constitution gives us the right to protest, not riot. It says for the people to freely and peaceably gather to petition the government for the redressing of grievances. That means being able to peacefully march from one end of your county to the other. Let nationwide proper protest happen. Set a day and march from one end of the county all the way down to the county seat, and ask with proper motives for what you want, without anger, violence, destruction. Let not your mission be covered by your sins. In other words, don't hide the purpose of your march behind acts of violence and destruction and devastation, because it will not work. It cannot work. And finally, I say it every week, to be peaceful and productive. How can we do that if we're rioting and going to jail in mass quantities? Because not only are people being attacked with rubber bullets, it's just going to be a matter of time before enough people are rioting and being destructive that the government says, okay, we're changing to more lethal approaches. You don't want that. But that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Because I've been hearing everybody say, oh, get on board with the riots. Get on board with the protests. Get on board. I'm not getting on board with violence and destruction. I'm a positive individual living a positive life. Out here doing positive things for the world. I'm out here spreading positivity, being a positive person. I ain't got time for the negativity of the violence and destruction that's going on city to city. You want something that I'll get behind? Do a 1,000,000-man march peacefully. To move for better, more equal living conditions between, more solid relationships between police and citizens, instead of reactionary action to violence. That's all I'm saying. Is don't be about violence, because it's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to solve anything. That's all I have for you today. And I know I promised last week that I would do the importance of restaurant etiquette. That's coming next weekend. It's etched in stone. This needed immediate attention before any more lives are taken as a result. You know, people like me, yeah, I work in healthcare. I'm on the front lines with risk of catching COVID because I work in a population that is easy to get the virus in and take root. And every day I kiss my wife and tell her to have a great day. I worry that she will not be able to pick me up because I got COVID-19 and they put me in isolation. You know, that I get a negative test. That's real fear. That's real danger. Yeah, the cops have been a issue for a minute of covering their own. But do we not do likewise? Do we not cover our own? It's called the Blue Union for a reason, people. And it's time that we started making more proactive approaches, doing it in a positive, peaceful, and nonviolent manner, instead of committing random acts of violence, anger. And hiding our good with crime. Hiding the good intentions. My mom always used to tell me, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, I intended to do the right thing. I intended for the march to go this way. What happened? Find that point of focus where you can say, okay, this is what I want. This is my purpose. This is how I'm going to get it done. And this is what we're not going to do. When people sign up for the march, make them aware before the day of the gathering for it that, hey, no weapons. No acts of violence will be tolerated. If you're going to be violent, move to the side. Either march forward or move to the side. But like every week, I'm going to close out with this. Keep your purposes in mind. Live peacefully. Be productive. And above all else, let's all be positive. And hey, leave a like and a comment on today's episode. If you liked the comment, if you liked the content today, let me know. If you didn't like the content, let me know. Or let me know your viewpoints on protesting. Because, hey, no view is wrong. It's everybody's personal opinion and viewpoint. That's just mine. You know, that's one man's viewpoint. And I'm a very open-minded person. So, leave a like, a comment. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I drop more positive content. And until next time, be peaceful, be productive. Let's all be positive. Peace.